What's out there? What creates the shadows in the corners or the creatures of the dark? Who are those on the other side? What do they have to say? This is the Gateway Podcast. This is not your normal style of paranormal talk radio. Brought to you live from United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM New Orleans.
The Church of Mavis radio show, Friday nights at 8 p.m., 7 Central, starring Jeffrey Pritchett with his co-hosts Wham and Jay McNicholas, right here on the United Paranormal Radio Network, UPRN 107.7 FM, New Orleans.
Welcome to Paranormal Heart Podcast with host Kat Ward.
Hi, and thank you all for joining us today. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in New Orleans.
Tune in to UFO Undercover.
I had enough.
Well, you drove out there into the middle of nowhere and had some sort of loud verbal display challenging ET in general out in the middle of nowhere?
That's what I was doing. I actually had a pistol in my hand at the time. I was really ticked off. When I was having this fit, I was waving the gun in the air, okay, and I had this fit. And at this moment, I said, okay.
He was a Louisiana man named Montaldo. Folks around called him Six Gun Joe. Worked with ICAR, don't you know? Investigating UFOs. Out for a drive with a gal one night, they stopped to check out the reporting site. But an alien lit right there on the ground and commenced to throwing his weight around. Now, old Six Gun didn't take too kindly to that kind of thing, especially without Vaseline or anything like that, Seriously. Well, Six Gun looked that critter right in the eye and said, "Any last wish before you die, yo?" Reached for his gun, quick as a twitch, and said, "Fill your claw, you son of a bitch." Now a legend spread across the land about this pistol-waving man. But if you're from space or from Earth below, you don't give no lip to Six Gun Joe.
You're listening to UFO Undercover with your host, Joe Montaldo, right here on the Paranormal Radio Network. Welcome to UFO Undercover with your host, Joe Montaldo.
Oh, is that who I am? Whoa, scary looking back there. Shit flying all over. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, welcome everyone to UFO Undercover. I hope you're having a good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are on our big, beautiful blue planet. So much stuff going on in the world. Nothing I can really talk about on this show. I mean, other than alien stuff, but Friday night show ought to be pretty good. There's a lot of material for Friday night. A lot of stuff been going on. A lot of crazy stuff been going on. The world's a very interesting place to live in right now. Could be even one of the greatest times in our history, or, dun, 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 dun. Who was that? Jamie Lee said she's going to send me aliens to help out. Hey, Heidi, how you doing? No, really, she said she's going to send me aliens to help out. I'm kind of like, I don't know. Aliens sound good and all, but, oh, man. For any of our StreamYard hosts that are listening tonight, I don't know, StreamYard has gotten screwy, so it may have to be a new home here. But anyway, moving on from that. A lot of good stuff to talk about. When people ask me about ufology and where they should start and how they should get into the field, and I always tell them the same thing. It doesn't matter whether they're looking at abductions, whether they're looking at, YAPs or UFOs or UPAs or UPSs. It doesn't really matter. UPS. It doesn't really matter what it is. You should start in the past, as far back as you can get, because the interesting thing about life is it's never quite where you think it's going to be. And in this case, as you go backwards in time, you start noticing there is shit flying in the skies. Oh, wait, did he say shit flying in the skies? Yes, I did. And not just a little shit flying in the skies, lots of shit flying in the skies. Oh, I think Jay joined us. Let me drag him up here. I don't know how StreamYard's working for him right now because, like I said,
yeah, I'm out. I had to use the link to get in.
Yes. It's apparently it's only letting 3 of us at a time all of a sudden. So,
wow.
Yes. But anyway, we'll talk about that later on. Well, guys and girls, I mean, we've been on StreamYard a long time. They doubled the price on us out of the blue without telling us. And then all of a sudden, now they're going to do this. It may be time to go somewhere else. And you know how I am about ragging on things that don't work right. Plus, they had all kind of set and screwed up when I came on it today. And so it makes it hard. So we're doing this. Now, Michelle can come on and one other show, but until we leave, it's not, only really one other show can be running, one ending, one starting, it's stuff like that. I mean, it's 3 hosts. So it makes it hard because, we're used to having, more than one host on at one time when we're guesting. When we have all of our guest hosts on and our regular panel of hosts, it's kind of a bitch. Craig, it's just one of them things. It's just internal business. Oh, no, not really. It's StreamYard. I mean, I don't know what's going on with them. All of a sudden, this thing pops up on my screen this long and says, you have to take some of these off before you can get on there. Now current configuration of this station's 2 years old.
At least, maybe
on here, and then before that, it was a little bit smaller than the configuration now. But that's some shit. So, no, I don't want to get into because I don't want to mess up the thing of the show tonight. But you'll hear me Friday night because by then I'll have more information about it. Michelle informed me about it earlier today. I was, so it's not just that. Then I got other issues with like Microsoft 365. See, it's a shame this is a UFO show tonight because I got some real what's going on. Anyway, Jay, how you been, man? You look like you wore out, got kicked by the horse, knocked down a stick. Has the wife been beating you again?
No, I just didn't get a good amount of sleep last night, and then I've just come out of 2 hours of standing on a forklift, or 10 hours, not 2, 10, 1 0. So yeah, I'm beat. I'm.
Oh no, I can see that. It's
passed right out.
Yeah, we had to get up. I had meetings early this morning out of town, so I had to rent a car.
Oh shit!
Get my ass up at it was about 5:36. I probably would say 6. Get dressed, get out of the house, go. I only got back to I don't know, an hour before the show, half hour before the show.
Christ, you're working harder now that you're retired than when you were working full time.
Yeah, but in all fairness, I do get like some days in a row off. Like I'll get 3 days off sometimes before. Yeah. None of them is really off. There's always something to do in the station, and there's always something to do on my house. It'll take me a year from all the work I was doing for other people to get caught up in my own house. It'd be a year outside, half a year inside, and I'll be happy after that. Well, if the kids and grandkids and stuff help out, that's different. But one issue at a time. I bet you these pharaohs didn't have this problem back in the day. They said jump and snap. Everybody went yes.
Well, but also if you think back, there was payment, and they weren't necessarily slaves. They weren't indentured servitude. They were paid in food and beer. Beer was not only money, was not only reward, was not only food, but medicine. They found strong antibiotics in the dried out remnants in some of these things. So it was an all around, better than the beer we have today.
Yeah, well, it's probably better for you.
Yeah,
because it was all natural and it was made different. Today, you got all kind of, all this.
It's not even sugar because they don't have sugar on that continent. They didn't have sugar until we discovered South America.
But they had things like sugar, close enough.
Similar stuff to it, yes.
Yeah, but it's that was kind of weird how all of that started out. But when you look back, to me, it's weird. Anytime we find something to eat or something to harvest or something, I always wonder who was the guy or woman who tested this thing, who grabbed the first onion and went.
Yeah. I wonder that about
that's pretty good.
Crab and the first guy who ate a clam or an oyster.
Well, I figure
break open a rock for food.
Well, you see, but that's the thing. Like if you talk to my Chinese friends, Japanese friends, they're big shellfish eaters. I mean, big shellfish eaters.
Oh, huge!
All kind of clams and oysters. They love it. And there's a bunch of other stuff besides that, crab and stuff. And they like a lot of different kind of fish too. And I guess when you live on an island,
when you're landlocked, you don't have and way back when there's not a lot of so. Japan in the 16th century, they took over Okinawa. And the reason why they took it over was it was a huge farming village. The whole island is mostly farms or mostly fishermen with a few sparse farms in the interior for growing, what grains they needed, rice and flour and whatnots, but very little space to grow on those islands that Japan has.
Yeah, well, then that's why they're hanging their cows like this. And what was that, Jackie? What do you mean? Well, no, I was talking about Wagyu beef. They hang the cows are suspended, the muscle. That's why there's so much fat inside. Look, I like a good ribeye. Don't get me wrong. I like a good marble in the ribeye. I don't need half the ribeye to be marble. I just, and these are Californians. How do you think this shit's healthy, guys? Really? I mean, y'all. What is that? Y'all's only indulgence out there. See, I'm beginning to wonder about California and its healthiness. I think they put it on top of healthy and underneath they're a bunch of pigs. Yes, I'm talking about you people in California.
There's quite a lot of foods that seem healthy to you, but in order to get them, there are some unhealthy practices, like pâté de foie gras. You know how they make that, right? They take a plastic tube and stuff it down the goose's neck and forcibly pour food into the stomach until it gets so fat its liver engorges, then they kill it and give you the liver. That's not good for the goose. And that's all. It's the only part I think that they even use when they do pate de foie gras. They don't use the rest of the goose. They just throw it away, which is a complete waste.
Yes, don't worry, Jimmy. We'll tie it into UFOs. UFO combined got it for dinner. There you go. Jimmy's like, what the hell are y'all talking about? Well, because we're going backwards. So as we're going backwards in time, when you get back 6,000 years ago, the rise of modern day Sumeria and modern day Egypt, and I say that because the writings suggest that both these societies are much older, or at least the area where these societies developed from is much older. Because Sphinx is dating 15,000 years.
It's somewhere between 12,500 BCE and 16,500 BCE. That's a long back.
So you got the Sphinx, and you've got a couple other things around there that date around the same age. Mm-hmm. But guys, that was when the Ice Age.
Maybe a little bit younger. I think it's dated more towards like 10,500 to about 12,500. So it's a little younger, but it's probably built by
that's still 15,000 years. Because we're 2,500. We're 2,000 years into this anyway. We're already 2,000 years past. So anytime you're going back 12,000, you're already at 14,000 years. It's what's that, Jimmy? No, so. It's a very significant mark, and it's the reason 12,500 BC is significant because it's not just about the Sphinx. The Great Pyramids only line up with that constellation at Orion at 12,500 BC. The Sphinx lines up with Leo at 12,500.
No, 10,500 for the Leo.
No, all of them, the whole group, all line up, every one of them. They Angkor Wat
for data, because when they first did it, this was done 87, I think, 1987.
Yeah, it was you boys
West and Robert Bovall, and they were
boys who were working on the liquid
right then, but they must have backed it up.
Well, they didn't jack it up much because they were floating from 10 to 12. They only actually just settled on 12 and added 500 is what they did. It's still but anyway, what's important about this is because all of these things line up with that day. It's not just one thing. Angkor Wat lines up with Draco at 12,500 BC. The Seven Sisters line up with, is it Easter Island or no? It's not Easter Island. It's Stonehenge. I always get them confused. And then
Easter Island, to be fair.
Yeah, and then Easter Island, actually, I can't remember which one it lines up with, but there's 7 of them that line up perfectly at 12,500 BC. Now, don't get me wrong, people. The Egyptians were damn good astronomers. I imagine the Sumerians were
too. Sumerians actually have records of celestial movements in clay discs.
But none of this is in any of their writings. None of this. And I doubt they could go backwards. So they did discover the wobble of Earth at 2 degrees, which was cool for the Egyptians to do. But even that they understood precession, going back that far without a real computer, I don't even know if you could have done it on a Chinese computer. I don't know if it was possible. That's a long ways.
Maybe that's why they built the Antikythera machine. It was to track
6,000 years, because you're talking 6,000 years in the past. I guess you could do it longhand on a big scroll somewhere, but man. Any mistake, and it's not just that, because the Egyptians did it, but the people in Angkor Wat did it, and they were actually younger. They only were around about 3,000 years. The Egyptians were around longer.
Well,
so,
wasn't it the height of the pyramid, the Great Pyramid of Giza? Isn't it the height from the ground to the top of the peak? Isn't it like exactly like a fraction of the diameter of the Earth?
I don't. Was that what it was? There was something like, I don't know if that's what it was, but I it's been a while since I looked, but it's so when you look at the Egyptians, they understood several things. Matter of fact, modern day science today are still impressed with the Egyptians because they did things that we can only do with computers today.
Yeah.
So, which means that we're doing this longhand. So anybody who's ever done any kind of real math understands what longhand means. That means, let's just sit here
and write it out and write it out and write it out.
and unfortunately, sometimes that's the only way you can do things. So when I was in the Navy, even though we all had calculators and we could carry around and solar powered calculators, and usually more than one of them, because some of the things we used to have to do for some of the stuff on the planes and inside. Anyway, we needed to have them. So, but they made you learn longhand. And if you didn't pass. You had to be able to do any kind of electronics or any type of math longhand. Because in case something happened on a ship and there was no power or no way to get access to certain types of equipment, you needed to know how to formulate things. I know, ain't that a bitch?
Same thing was done for the Apollo guys. They had
yeah, I seen them actually doing longhand.
Well, yeah, they had a form, I guess to
hey, Mark,
take their course or to point the machine in the right way, and they had to fill in certain numbers, and if you're off by even a decimal point, you're going to skitter off the atmosphere and die. So, yeah, math is very important for. I mean, they call it sacred geometry. What's built into the pyramids?
Psycho.
Yes, I mean, like I said, there's fractions. There's numbers for the distance from the sun to the Earth, a distance from the sun to the moon, the diameter of the Earth. I think they even have a calculation for both apogee and perigee, our near and far approaches in orbit to the sun. So it's not just a building; it's a calculator. It's a physics machine.
Yeah, I just, this was, but if it would have just been just the Egyptians, I could, okay, maybe, because the Chinese didn't do this, by the way.
No, but they do.
But the Egyptians did. I mean, they did it, and what is it, Mao? I can't never remember the name of that city in Mexico. No, that big, huge, monstrous city behind the city in Mexico. You got Mexico City, then you got the city, the ancient city, and then you got the mountain range.
Teotihuacan.
Yes.
Teotihuacan is there.
Because it lines up with the Southern Cross, which, by the way, I don't think is actually a constellation. I think it's a star nursery. I'd have to double check because it's been a long time. I used to do a lot of sitting outside, guys, and do a lot of astronomy, but I don't really get that time. And here it's not quite dark enough where I live right now.
I think you're right. I think that nebula that they call the nursery for the stars, the star nursery, I think is in that area. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of interesting stuff to see, even with a little regular telescope, guys. There's a lot of stuff you can see. It was amazing. I had this. I went to a library and a guy told me what to get, and it was just a round disc, and you could just and it would tell you where everything was at the exact moment you were sitting there.
Yeah.
Yes, and then finally, when I got older, and he had some money. I got more modernized. I got the thing you hook up to the side of you, moves everything around. You don't do nothing. It lines everything up. You just go over there. Oh, look at this. Oh shit. Let me zoom in. So
that's cool, but it's cheating.
It is cheating. It's much easier though. I got to say,
Oh yeah.
Trying to find something through them little sites sometimes is what?
Yeah, it's real. I mean, my dad had a telescope.
Try to chase a UFO with one of them, man. You'd be like, what the hell?
Never get one, no.
It's but we have gotten shooting stars on them, stuff like that, and sometimes you get lucky and catch a shooting star. It looks like it's inside the damn telescope with you. Because I catch them with my binoculars sometimes sitting out on my porch, and they look like, holy crap! How big was that thing? It's not all that big, but still, it seems like it when you see it that way. But getting back, so we have all these ancient cultures that built the monuments to 6,000 years before they actually existed. In some cases, longer than that. Why? And how'd they know to build it to that date? Was it just a freak accident? I mean, we do know that there's weird stuff on our planet that happens, like sometimes somebody will invent something, but a bunch of somebody's invent something. You'll find that same invention 4, 5, or 6 other people were working on, or were right on the edge of bringing it out or something. It's always kind of weird. It's like when something's meant to happen on this planet, it's going to happen for whatever reason. I wonder if it's something like that, or it's just something. Or maybe it's just a reminder of something that happened 15,000 years ago.
But also there's something that seems to be cyclical. So maybe it's not only a reminder of destruction that happened 15,000, 20,000, 33,000 years ago. Maybe it's a reminder to tell us that if you can decipher the symbols and the sacred geometry in these buildings, maybe it will tell you, hey, when you get to this point in the universe, go underground, or the radiation or something's going to kill everybody. So something has cyclically destroyed the surface of this planet, and we don't really know what the time frame is. We suspect 30-some thousand years, but we're way past that. We're way overdue for a major extinction level event.
Yes, I hate to see how you poor humans bite the big one. Hey, Kurt. Hey, Heidi. Hey, Mark. Nope. Yes. No, I'm not going anywhere. I've cut deals, man. Y'all on your own. You humans are on your own. Yes. Anytime you hear somebody say the word humans, you know you're in deep trouble. They're the bad guys always. In every sci-fi movie, when they mispronounce humans, you know you're in shit. So when you meet the alien humans, you're in trouble. You mean like the first emperors and the first pharaohs? Well, you see, this is where it gets a little hairy. Let's say first pharaoh, Zero Dynasty. I don't even know if anybody knows who that pharaoh was. So we start there and we work our way forward. Now, the Egyptians talk about weird stuff flying around in the sky, seeing weird stuff in the sky, building monuments all over the place, building monuments to a time long before their time. I mean, they were building stuff 6,000, 7,000 years before them. And to the hour. I mean, right there, they had it right to the hour. I mean, they could see. And even today, if you go stand in front of the pyramids, you can actually see the way the sun comes in. It's also built. So get it. So they designed the pyramids so that you can see the sun in certain places at certain times of the year, and to match something that happened 6,000 years earlier. Man, for ancient people, they were pretty smart, I gotta say. And they say that some of that smartness came from, well, visitors, gods. And they didn't even really call them gods. They always had some other name for them. And a lot of times they called them by name, not by, they didn't call them deities or things like that. They just called them by name. Lower gods, medium gods, lesser gods, children of gods, stuff like that. That's what like Hercules was. Well, let's just use an example of the children. He could have easily been an extraterrestrial. Matter of fact, pretty much all of the Roman and Greek gods could have easily been extraterrestrials. Not only that, they could have been extraterrestrials having a ball playing around on our planet.
Well, I mean, we do have the myths and the stories, and they do talk about certain geographical terrain and what you call, major places on the planet that we still, sites on the planet that we still know of today that they've spoken about. Troy, think about all those. I can't recall any of my Greek stories, but the fact is that they saw something quite incredible and recorded it fairly accurately. So it has to mean that what they encountered is such high technology that it made it look like magic to them. It would even look like magic to us, even though we know it's not. But it would be awesome. I mean, you would not be able to comprehend that 12,500 years ago. No one could. I mean, none of us had any common frame of reference unless they were watching Star Trek and Star Wars TV shows back then, which I doubt.
You never know. They might have been. Somebody might have been time traveling back there.
Possible. I mean, but
maybe that's why Picard's got a series. Actually, got two series.
There is those images at Dendera. There's like Luke Skywalker's land speeder in a hieroglyph. There's a UFO in a hieroglyph. There's a submarine, a helicopter, modern equipment that should not be recorded in the ancient past.
Who the hell was time traveling seeing that? Or what was it doing back there? Did it get like dropped back? UFO brought it back so they could study it back there without being harassed by people today. Oh, look, big submarine, drop it right in the middle of the desert.
Well, I'm glad you also brought up time travel, time machine, because recently this is more for Friday, but the White House has announced that they have possession of time traveling equipment. We know that there have been, I don't know if you're aware of this one, but some of the conspiracy, particularly around JFK, after the fact, one of the conspiracies is that the CIA allegedly has modern footage, not the Zapruder film, not any of the film taken on Dealey Plaza, but footage taken from another viewpoint. So they allegedly went back in time with a video camera or a modern day good film camera, motion camera, I don't know what. But a lot of times I've heard, I didn't hear this from Trump's administration, but several administrations, there are rumors that they showed the incumbent president how they killed John F. Kennedy. And they tell them, if you do anything that we don't like, this could be you. There's also rumors that the UFOs have footage. What I guess their version of video or audio recordings of dinosaur animals roaming around on planet Earth, and obviously identifiable planet Earth. Some UFO experiencers have been witnessed to or told us that they've seen these videos shown to them by the Greys.
So why would you want to see the video then?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I would actually like to see there's another film that besides Zapruder, which allegedly shows the shooter and the assassination in one frame. But the one that the CIA allegedly shows to incumbent presidents or incoming presidents is like, the way they describe it is from just above the freeway, looking down into the plaza, and you can see the entire thing in vivid detail. So it has to be some sort of high definition type of device. Maybe they went back from 2001 and did it. I don't know, but the story has, it's only recent. I mean, within the last 20, 30 years, I heard this. But I would not be surprised. I mean, the White House is saying they have time travel. I would guarantee you that any UFOs visiting this planet also are in control of time travel devices.
Well, we'll know if they've got time travel soon enough. If Trump comes back and wins 2016 and then takes a third term in this term, then we'll know. Until then, I'm saying boo, boo. That's what I'm saying. Boo. What do y'all think? Boo. I know. Boo. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Boo. Could you imagine the people in our administration with control of time travel? Our planet would be so effed up, it'd be unrecognizable.
Well, maybe that's why it is effed up.
No, I mean far worse than this.
Oh, well.
I mean far, far, far worse than this. You know, or we would be just all of a sudden a united, happy planet living like, you know, right after World War II, one country just took everything over, and we became, which is what America should have done, and would have been one big happy country.
But and so allegedly in time travel lore, if you go back in time and fix or even ruin the time stream, you know, make it bad, make it worse, make it good, make it better, whatever, no one would ever have a memory of the way things should have been or were, except for the person who did the time travel. They'd be the only one that would have that memory. And then that memory in their mind, according to legend, time travel legend, when they come back to where they started from, at some point, the time frame, the time space continuum will wipe their memory of what they changed. So eventually, no one would know.
Maybe not. Who knows? Yeah. It's when you start jumping around in time, because really and truly, I don't think people quite realize if once you leave this timeline, it doesn't really exist anymore for you. Mm-hmm. You've stepped out of it.
Yeah,
you live in somewhere else now. Any reference of you, anybody who knew you, you're gone. They don't know you anymore.
Back to this timeline, it would be an alternate timeline.
It would be an alternate timeline. It wouldn't be the one you left. Mm-hmm. So I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work. They're going to have to figure out how to weigh. Okay, well, we have to come back from where we started from. Without, how's that going to work when everything's going to be changed? Yeah, you know, so it gets a little finky skinky up in there when you start getting into time.
And if time works the same way as dimensions work, and you know, anytime allegedly I make a decision or you make a decision, there's the timeline branches. There's, you know, the good outcome to what you decide and the bad outcome, and then there's another decision, and then it branches and that branches. And so it's like you would need. I can't even imagine how much computing power you would need. We don't have anywhere near that type.
Well, you know, I wonder about that sometimes. If we need raw computing power or if we need something else, because
Quantum computing is the
well,
only
no,
way.
not even that, because when you think about things like Devil's Jaw or the Great Lakes or Bermuda Triangle, it seems like it's shifting things into another dimension or another time. So if it's doing it just through a portal, there's got to be some way to generate that portal. I don't know if you can control where it's going. I mean, that's probably a whole other thing in itself, but there's got to be some way to generate it. And it's probably one of the way aliens travel is using those portals.
Yeah.
Jumping back and forth.
It's been described, the universe, as like an apple with wormholes through it. I mean, it's like there's so many conduits to get here and there. But again, we don't have the technology to discover these pathways. So there are several ways around the speed of light and going faster than light. And one of them is a wormhole.
Yes, jump from one spot to another. No, wormholes and whoever sent me that. No, wormholes and folding space are not the same thing. They're similar, but not the same thing.
So I can do that. Let me put, I'm smoking a cigarette. I'll keep it down. So let me do. Let's see. I don't have a ball in here, do I? I don't. All right. So we use my fist. All right. So for the wormhole, you want to go here from here. So if you go this way, it takes 1,000 miles. Wormhole is you start here and you go straight through and just boom, you come out that way. So you take the shorter route. So there is travel. And with folding space there is too, but folding space is similar but different. So folding space, I need a piece of paper. You take a piece of paper and a pen. I don't know how well you'll be able to read this, but you got a little dot that's your start, and a little dot that's your start here, and you want to finish here. So this is the fabric of space. You just basically bend it until these 2 points almost touch, and then you travel the short distance there is between them.
Yes, which is like nothing.
Things go back to normal, allegedly.
Yeah, which is like normal. I mean, like nothing. The traveling you're talking about there. It's Granny May Lulu. Well, that's a cute name. No, how do y'all change your messenger? It won't let me change my messenger name. What are you making new accounts or something? Well, if it does, you need to show me how to do it because I'm interested in learning how to do that.
Hi, Christine.
I've never even heard of that. Anyway, so we're still way, way back, people. We haven't even got out of 15,000 years ago. We're not even really into what we would consider gods and pharaohs and kings and lords. So at 15,000 years ago, something was going on. What was it that was going on our planet? Now, we know the Ice Age supposedly ended about 10,000 years ago, maybe a little longer, maybe a little less.
Yeah, around 11,500, somewhere around there.
So this would have been in the throes of the Ice Age starting to reverse 15,000 years ago.
Yeah. And you're also probably in the Younger Dryas as well. So there is a bombardment of debris from the destroyed planet in the fifth space here. Those meteorites, what's called the Younger Dryas eras, it was like a shotgun blast. It's constant meteorites striking the Earth for years until it stopped. And it still hasn't stopped. We still go through it. We just don't get hit as often and with as many big things.
Yeah, well, after you sweep through a couple of times, you get most of the big stuff out.
Yep.
No, I mean, you're going back to that's a whole different thing now. Well, that's how Elon's going to get into the asteroid belt. You can bet your ass on that. Elon's going to show up with one of them big things, open up the door, boop, grab the big hunk or whatever it is, boop, fly it to Mars, put it in his processing station, and be the first quadruple trillionaire ever to exist in the universe. Yes. Well, maybe not in the universe, but in the solar system for sure. It's
Well, unfortunately, Sean's not here, but I'm going to be the doomsayer here. I'm going to just throw it out that there's a gold meteorite out there that everybody wants, or at least Elon wants. Gold is not magnetic. You can't use a magnetic device or a beam on it. It won't work. I'm going to say that if we have a tractor beam, that gold is also immune to tractor beams. So he'll have to lock on to another element in that rock and try to pull it close.
Oh, it's got other elements. It's got titanium and a few other things. But titanium's not really magnetic either. But there's a few other. But that's not how he's going to do it. He's just going to roll out there with his big mothership, grab hold to it, and just bring it on back. I mean, it doesn't really take much to land on Mars. I mean, a ship that big is going to have some pretty big thrusters, so it should come down pretty smoothly. I'm sure he'll have a little catching place for it. And then boop, it'll drop the rock. It'll probably, before it even gets down, it'll probably drop the rock out in the desert.
It's either going to have to go and orbit around the moon or orbit around the Earth. And either one sounds like a dangerous proposition.
No, they're not going to do none of that. He's just going to grab it and bring it to Mars. It's closer, it's easier, and besides, they're going to mine it. And any debris won't be getting polluting our planet. They'll be polluting Mars, which is a good thing for Mars because it thickens the atmosphere. So, yeah, no, ain't that a bitch, people? That's just how it works. So that works out good for everybody. And then the raw materials, which will be much lighter and blocked and ready to go, will be sent home. The ones that aren't going to be used on Mars. And now they'll be worth a small fortune. Can you imagine buying gold or diamond that was taken from the asteroid belt? Yeah, you're going to have to be pretty rich to even buy one of those.
Mark the fifth planet.
But pretty soon, within 100 years at the time, probably not even that, within 50 years at the time they really start colonizing Mars, you'll see all kind of little spaceships out in the asteroid, little people out on there, like little Sean's out there mining the asteroid belt, getting his gold. Yes, I'm serious. There'll be all kind of people out there, prospectors all over the place.
Game with a little triangular ship, and you go pew 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 pew, and you shoot the rocks until you mine the stuff out of it. There was another one called Sinistar. It was similar.
Asteroids was just save your ass is all it was. But
yeah. Well, Sinistar, it's asteroids, but you also mine stuff from the asteroid as well before you destroy it.
So anyway, Jesse, when you get back to this point we're talking about right now, there wasn't supposed to be any intelligent life on the planet. Okay, not is it like we're talking about today. Okay, they were supposed to be just running around, still caveman like. Really, it wasn't. That was before the Bronze Era. That was pretty much before anything.
Well, let's put it into perspective. You brought up the Bronze Era. Bronze Copper Age era is as far as the Egyptians are concerned, is about 2425 BCE, 2,245 years BC. That's when they think the pyramids were built. They were I think it's Copper Age coming into the Bronze Age. I think bronze is harder than copper, so they used to have only copper tools. And if anyone knows copper, it's a soft metal. You can scratch it with your fingernail. Then they take copper and they mix it with tin and aluminum, and bauxite rather. And now they have bronze, which is a little bit harder, but it's still a soft metal. You take a bronze axe and you hit it onto a steel breastplate of armor, and it will either bend or shatter. So that's the height of their technology. Very, very low technology.
So you were thinking what you were seeing back then would have been people in little skinned outfits, just like Native Americans, but way, way less evolved. But it doesn't seem like that because now we've got a city, two sunken cities that date back 12,500. That's 10,000. I'm sorry. And so wait, what happened? Now you got to stop and think. So if those two cities are there, it begs to say there were other cities out there older.
If you're talking about the cities I'm thinking of,
so two off the coast of India.
Allegedly, those two cities were destroyed by a nuclear device that caused a flood, which sunk them permanently.
Yes, because what it looks like, the way they describe the people clearing it out, said it looks like something lifted up the sand and just dropped it with the water on top of the city. Because all the roof material is gone, but the walls are intact because the sand packed in. It made like a solid brick, and so it's very interesting, and it's very old. It's so 10,500.
On the order of 12 or 13,000 is what I thought they were saying.
It's at least 12,000 years old, at least. Probably 13, but at least 12. So remember, people, we were all taught that civilization started at 6,000 years ago. Okay, well that's now we know it's at least 12,000 years ago. Oh, but it's worse than that. They think the one off Japan and the one off of Cuba is at least, and I'm using the word, at least 16 plus.
16,000.
Yeah, at least 16,000. They actually think those pyramids probably were built on top of ice. And when
I don't know if you recall, but I've said it many times on Jeff's show and many times on the other shows I'm on here that if we want to really find out what happened in the past, you have to go and search the bottom of the oceans. You're going to find much more cities because the water table changed. That's what the flood is. I mean, not only did the oceans change shape, but where they were are it's now dry land, and where it used to be dry land is now water. So that's where you're going to find all these ancient civilizations, and we're starting to do that now. We got 2 off of India, we've got 1 off of Cuba, and 1 off of we've had the 1 off of Japan for a while, but there it is.
It's so, I mean, we've known about both these cities for, well, that's actually 3 of them. So you've got the 2 off the coast of Cuba, one that's in the harbor and one that's on the
The one that's in the harbor
side.
is the newer one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the newer of the 2 that's found. The first one was found, God, I was just getting into this. It's been a while because I met the guy that used to drive the Yellow Submarine down there. That's how I found out about all this. And that's how I stayed informed about it until about 2010. And he's still around, by the way, but after that they didn't have any further, they weren't dealing with it anymore. He was actually one of the ones bringing the divers in. And because they were using Bell divers and stuff because it was so deep. And it's there's a lot of stuff. I mean, you can still find the maps of them. There was a lot of stuff found there, but nobody ever wants to talk about them because they predate everything on the planet by quite a long ways, and so nobody's like, no. So, and then of course there's Bimini Road right down the street from it, and then we've got all those islands over there, and then there's other stuff that doesn't look correct, and it looks like Atlantis probably reached from the internal part of the Gulf of Mexico all the way across to the Gibraltar Strait. I can't get it out yet. So there was probably a big continent in between the Americas and the European and Middle Eastern area. And when it sunk, that's probably why there were so many similarities in the cultures. Because the people went to both sides. I don't know, guys. It's a very strange thing, but the cities are there. You can't deny them. They've been seen. They've been documented. I mean, the Canadian Archaeological Society, along with the Cuban Diving Society, mapped it. They went through it a countless amount of times. And then all of a sudden, Google tried to do a scrub on it, but Yahoo kept them up. And then some of the smaller engines picked them up. So there's still not much, but it's out there. So, I pulled up a map of what the Gulf of Mexico would have looked like during the Ice Age. And it is funny, but the 2 areas we're talking about, let me see if I can put this on the screen. Let me see if it'll let me pull it up. Oh yeah, let me pull this up right quick. Where is it? What's that? No, I'm not inviting a guest. We already got the guest. Right here on the screen, what else we're going to have to get? Okay, there it is. All right, just can I make it bigger than that? Let's see. Can we make it bigger? Nope, then just as big as it gets. Damn it. Oh wait, no, maybe not.
Yeah, you're in the Google thing. There we go.
So anyway, let me come back over here, and I can make this screen bigger for me, so I can see there we go. So if you notice where the harbor is, it's full of ice. And it's thick ice, which means you could easily build pyramids on it, no problem. And then when you cross the other side, where the other ones are, there's also ice. So I can't pull a map up, but it would have been right up in here somewhere. And both places have ice because originally somebody had really said they thought something they found made them think that the pyramids may have been built on ice.
Even the ones
they said they just think they just sunk straight down. The whole thing, they said they think that it stayed intact until most of it stayed intact. It's just the weight pushed it underwater until it bottomed out on the ground. But they still think there was like a 5-foot or 10-foot ice sheet underneath it when it went all the way down. Something about some of the things they found, the way they were leaning and stuff, because it's too deep for there to be any real current where it's at. I don't know. When you look at these maps of the ice, I mean, there was a lot of ice down here in North America.
But be careful what you say about deep underwater currents. That they said the same thing about
they can have some. I know that, but I don't know about right this one
down
spot.
in the Marianas Trench there is, because there's thermal activity, because you're so close to the mantle, the liquid, beginning of the liquid core of the planet. So they do have eddies and currents way down there, but that's 9 miles, and none of us can survive in that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Gulf can get as deep as 4, but I don't know what it is right there. It's probably, we know that one city's in 2,000 feet and one's in 900 feet. But you can see there was plenty enough ice pack to support. But I would have thought that if the ice would have started melting, it would have fell over on its side or something. And it just, it just looks like it was ground. But then it might have done the same thing if the ground shook. So something happened. I mean, it went from being above the water to below the water by a good distance. And was that over a time period, or did it happen all at once?
Well, I mean, if this is all related to the flood, like I said, what happened was, so you have Atlantis in the Pacific, and there's the big landmass in the middle. So it's not all ocean. There's a big landmass in the middle. And then you have Lemuria over in the Pacific Ocean, which is almost parallel to Atlantis, but it like spans from the Philippines across Hawaii, and then over to about Central America, the top of Mexico-ish. Now, if those land masses were legitimate continents and somehow were immediately destroyed, they would both create such divots in near water that any water in the surrounding areas would be drawn to it immediately, which it could have drawn Gulf waters across Mexico into the Pacific Ocean, killing people on the land, and vice versa, going across Europe into Russia and Asia. So something caused the flood. We don't know what it is, but having 2 huge continents sink underwater, well, I mean, that could also be part of the problem why the flood happened. And we still need to know what the mechanisms were that caused these destructions.
Well, more than likely, Cuba is just a mountain range left over from one of the continents sunk. I mean, this is and we're talking 2,000 feet. That's a good ways down. And you can see the ridges, but you can see the Gulf is almost froze completely. It looks like it doesn't even have hardly any water in it at all. Seeing right here, the channel is actually closed. It's iced up all the way up and through here and all. Now, by saying that mean underneath it wasn't flowing. So that might have been what happened. You might have had this warm water in here, a little bit of warm water just squeezing out underneath these pyramids until they just gradually sank. As the weight, as the flotation got thinner, they just finally sank. I don't know. I'd like to know, though. It's interesting. Just to know that they're there is extremely interesting. Glenn.
Well, and also that's a good suggestion there, Joe. We know that at least the pyramids of Egypt were power sources or power plants, and that they poured chemicals into it, including water and hydrochloric acid, to create electricity, or not electricity, hydrogen, and they no longer work. Well, having them picked up by ice and moved and then dropped back down on the earth. Well, there you go. That's why they don't work. They're not where they're supposed to be.
That's the thing. And that's the other thing. They could have been floating around.
Yeah, and to be floating around on ice, as you suggest, and then in the example of the Giza pyramids, and then deposited where they are now, everyone still calculates that where they are on the landmass is generally considered the core, the center, the very heart of all the land. So if you were to take all the land together and put it into a big circle, that's where Giza is, right dead square in the middle. It would be, what do you call it, the hypotenuse or the radius?
Dude, wait, why did I lose you? Where'd you go? What the hell? I lost the whole...
Well, I can see it. The sunken city?
Yeah, but I don't see you. It's what I mean. There you are. I couldn't find you. The screen was blank for a minute. Now, when you, I don't know why. That was just weird the way it did that. It's let's see if we can view the image.
Somebody's messing with us up there.
So, I mean, when you're looking at this city, it looks... You can take it one of two ways. You can say it looks like a Mayan city because you see the steps.
Definitely looks Mayan.
Or here, this looks like the step pyramid in Giza. Mm-hmm. Either way. And then you've got the complex running along behind it. And you see all the brick, the walls are all intact.
The one in the middle looks more like a pagoda. and the one in the front looks more like a mausoleum. It's a big square with a pyramid on top. It's not typical of Maya, but it's a grainy underwater photo.
It is a green underwater photo. Let's see what else they got in there. If they got anything better. Oh, we're gonna have to get out of there. Let's see. It just don't have an exit button. What kind of crap is that? Okay, let's go this way. So this is before the excavation started. And this is because they've been excavating them there quite a long time. And you can see the differences. You can see how much they've taken out. So when you look at this, see, this one's got a little hole in top. It's like a little mini volcano.
Yeah, or perhaps it was a factory, and that was a smokestack to allow, whatever manufacturing process gases to escape.
They say this pyramid right here, all the pyramids in Giza can fit inside of 3 times at least.
Oh yeah.
So that's a big ass pyramid or whatever it is. Because here it looks completely different. It's kind of round and around. It looks just wholly different there.
Well, I mean, is it encrusted in something? It's got to have something. That can't.
It could be. It could be.
Like there's only vaguely see pyramid shape in the second half. The one, the top, the more less grainy. The one you're on now, it looks more like your typical rectangular building structure here.
Yeah. So I mean, you see stuff like coming out of whatever this is. You got these in the front, these little ones here, rooms back here, whatever this is. You don't know what else is buried in here or was destroyed. But it's a decent sized complex, and you're kind of like, what the hell's going on? And these are renderings on the right over here. This is actually the one from Japan. I'm pretty sure that's one.
Yeah, Yonaguni.
Yeah, that's the one it looks like from Japan. And then here is this one. I don't know what the hell that is. Underwater pyramids discovered about 6,000 years ago. Really?
Yeah.
And who discovered them?
Yeah.
I'd like to know. I think that's a misprint, people.
Maybe he means 6,000 feet underwater. I don't know.
It's 6,000.
That's probably 6,000 feet off the coast is what not years, feet.
But he's got years next to it. It says about 6,000 years ago. It says underwater pyramids discovered about 6,000 years ago.
6,000 yards.
I just think somebody made a boo boo, is what I think.
Yeah.
I mean, people underwater. Anyway, we're gonna leave it alone. Let's see what we got right here. So you can see where they said it was or where it is. This picture sucks. Let's see if there's something better. Oh, so they think this was Atlantis. That's what the center pyramid would be with all of its things. Ooh, it might have could have been. Maybe it was. Or did they actually find it?
I am starting to see sort of a circle around that complex. So the circle goes between the square pyramid in front and then between what I call the pagoda in the middle there. You see it? There's a circle under it.
Yeah. They let's see.
By the way, people, nature does not make circles or direct straight lines or 90-degree angles. So it's almost impossible for these things to be natural.
So this is also underneath it on the.
Is that Yonaguni? No, that's Cuba still.
It's another one in Cuba. This ain't the same one. This is actually a different pyramid.
Well, that is definitely Mayan, 100%. Look at it.
Yeah, or who? Well, it could have been mine. Toltec, I guess, is who, or whoever the ancestors of Toltecs are, because it's been sunk for a long time.
Well, I suspect whoever built the pyramids was not the Toltecs, was not the Mayans, was not any of them, and they just discovered them and reused them. A found building, a found city with nobody in it. What would you do? I'd use it.
Yeah, I don't blame them for that. Yeah. So here they're doing the complexes in a different way. Well, look at the dolphin. I mean, I got a dolphin. I'm going swimming. Oh no, Jackie, we actually be taking a break in a minute, but no, just 2 or 3 promos and a song. That's it. And just the song's just going to be one of the ones that belong to the show.
Song up, or do you want me to get one?
No. On this show, we just use those 2 songs. We don't use nothing else.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, oh yeah. That's all. It's just part of its format. A couple of promos and those 2 songs make it easy. And there used to be 3 that we had on here that were made. I don't know what I did with the other one. See, is this like a mini? Just something about this is bugging me.
It looks kind of like a tank.
It looks. I mean, look at this piece up here. I don't know. Something about this.
But the underneath looks like a track. Like, it looks like a tank.
Yeah, I don't know. This is kind of weird looking.
Maybe.
Well, this is off the coast of Cuba, people.
I even see a cannon on it, dude. I'm not lying. Oh, hey, I can't send an invite. Do you have send an invite to Michael?
Oh shit. Okay, hold on. No, come on. I don't believe this one's real. This said this is in Bermuda Triangle. I've never heard about any city in Bermuda. Have you?
Oh, wait, I got it. I copied it off of yours.
Oh, okay. There they are measuring blocks with writing all over them. But that looks like a compass. Yeah. So what are this? So this is oh, people that don't read Spanish, come on. It's been like 2 decades. Shit, it's been more like 4 decades. I can
read it and I can pronounce it, but I probably cannot decipher the words. I'm
looking at this. This is a comparison. I don't know what this is right here.
Okay, I can read that. Hold on, let me see. Atlantida o Misterio da Cidade Submersa. Okay, so Atlantis, ? A mystery of the city submerged in Cuba.
Okay, well, see, because this looks like a comparison. These right here. This is, oh yeah, this is Bimini.
Yeah, Bimini Road.
Oh yeah, this was nature did this.
Nature cannot do that. I'm sorry. They make herringbone walkways.
Okay, that looks like a capsule right there. What the hell is that?
It's a column that's fallen over.
You sure it's a capsule, man? The thruster underneath there.
You can see the columns there. You see that thing in the where the herringbone Bimini Road is? That is the base of the columns there.
Some other stuff they found down there. Oh wait, whoa, go back over. That looks like one of them hoopy things. That definitely looks Mayan or Aztec, whichever one.
That's the head hoop.
Man, so this game started long before any of their civilizations did. How cool is that?
Yeah.
This city's at least 6,000 years old. That's what they were trying to say.
Soccer basketball is older than anything else.
So 6,000 years ago. Nope, that wasn't the end of the Ice Age. No, I think I think it's older than that. There's been no great upheavals around here in the last 6,000 years. So that's where this one is. So there's supposed to be one, this one right here. There's supposed to be one in here somewhere, and then another one over here somewhere up in here.
So Cuba, like you said, is probably was a mountain range surrounding the great city of Atlantis.
It probably was. These are probably just offshoots of the city itself.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was also, what was it, 3 rings? So it was supposedly each ring was like the outer ring was like, I guess, the military. The next ring was the civilians, and then the middle ring was the noble class and ruling class.
So they better hope this ain't true. So this, even if it's at 6,000 years, that means somebody was boating at 6,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And this is older than 6,000. So that means, man, crossing the ocean started much earlier than we thought. So man coming to this side of the planet was probably happened before we came over the ice bridge.
Did Michael pop in? I don't have access again.
Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. I'm not in the room. Give me a second. Let me come back. Oh, there he is. Boop. Hey, Michael. Don't ask. The system's screwy.
Oh yeah, hey, there you are, guy.
Yeah. I had to come back. I was on the map page. I keep forgetting you don't have access. So I got to come back. Yeah, that shit sucks, man.
Yeah.
So now before we do shows, now before we do a show, we got to read the list, make sure we're kicking somebody out that's not actually doing anything, and then start our show. That's just bullshit. Is what that is.
Yeah.
I'm still not a happy camper about that. Mike, what happened? You sound like you was in static there. All right, here we go. Back to this. Let's go. Murky underwear. See, at different angles, this looks way different.
I think maybe this would be a good place to pause and do our commercial break and then
Yeah, you know what? That is a good place to
pop
pause.
back in. Yeah. Good timing, Mike. You got here right on time for break.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take about a 6 or 7 minute break. It's not going to be a real long one, and we're going to be back. So looking at more of this, talking about the ancient world. We're trying to get to start where the pharaohs and who were, while I want to break, I might want to think
You
about
can't
that.
hear us, Joe. Do you have him muted on your end?
No, let me check. Can't unmute him. He's muted. He won't let me unmute him. He's got himself muted. He might have to click on the screen or something.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got
there you
David.
go. Yeah, you're muted on your end. I was just sending you the message.
So Joe done pissed off the men in black in there, shutting down our StreamYard, man.
You see that, huh? They are dogs, man. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about that after the show. But guys, we got to take a break.
And they're
they are.
All day.
Cut us down to 3, man. I was like,
retrograde going mad.
Rumble, at least Rumble's straight mostly. I got to find out why it's showing up like this instead of the green one, but we'll check on that later.
They know that we know that we know that they know.
That's right. That they know that we know that they know that you know, or something along those lines. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be back, and like I said, about 6 minutes. Listen to some weirdo breaks for a few minutes, and then be a little short song, and then we'll be back.
If you have a paranormal experience that you would like to discuss on the show, please email us at paranormal.insight.podcast@gmail.com. That's paranormal.insight.podcast@gmail.com.
Welcome to Paranormal Heart Podcast with host Kat Ward.
This is the United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans and 105.3 in the Gulf Coast. UPRN TalkRadio.com. Esoteric programming at its finest.
Our symbol, the trident, gifted to us by the priests of Troy Xenos centuries ago when one of the first monster hunting teams out of Corinth battled a contingent of Vrykolakas that had infested their temple. After the victory over the monsters, the head priest declared, "You are 3 lances acting as one, not unlike Poseidon's mighty trident of light. That would become our name, the Trident of Light, for the good we did and still do against the dark evils of this world."
Available at Amazon Books.
Hi, I'm Brittany Ashley, your host of Breaking Norms Building Dreams, your guide through this transformative journey in both business and life. This is your place crafted for dreamers, doers, or anyone who has been told they can't. Get ready as we challenge those narratives together. You're tuning in live to the United Public Radio Network, airing on 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. We are streaming on all the popular platforms every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me for a candid and thought-provoking conversation celebrating your unique journey because you are worth it.
Welcome to Negotiating Happiness, the show that helps you find happiness, success, and balance in your work and life. I'm Adriana Fiestra, your host for this journey into entrepreneurship and personal growth. We're broadcasting live on 107.7 and 105.3 FM in New Orleans as part of the United Public Radio Network. We explore the latest strategies, insights, and stories from successful entrepreneurs and experts. From managing stress to building a thriving business, we've got you covered.
You're listening to UFO Undercover with your host, Joe Montaldo, right here on the Paranormal Radio Network.
Wow. I was wondering when that song was going to end. That sounds longer than I thought it was. Welcome back to UFO Undercover, everybody. I hope y'all have been enjoying the first hour. Been kind of meandering around. We still ain't got to where we were going. These old cities. I mean, when you see stuff like this, you have to stop and go, "What to believe, man?" I mean, this changes everything that we know and believe in.
Not necessarily true. I have been speculating on this for a long time, and so it's not a surprise to me. And it's probably not a surprise to certain archaeologists, but to the world at large, this is earth shattering. Not to be goofy, but it's legitimately earth shattering.
I forgot we were dealing with Mr. Daniels here. Anyway, moving on. Don't even ask if you don't know who Don't even ask if you don't know who Mr. Daniels is. I'm just not going to entertain that. Reckless, you're cheap. Oh, baby, just not the right show for that. Come back, though, on Saturday night. We'll talk about it if you're reckless and cheap. Yeah, come on Saturday night and turn a chat. We'll have a ball. How's that? Anyway, I don't know. There's a lot of these cities just floating around underneath the water. No one seems to know where they came from, how they got there. No one really knows anything about this city.
And shockingly, they're also every bit as advanced as the ones that are on the land, and both.
And see, these are differently shaped. When they show them and what they think they are, these pyramids are different. There's definitely one of these pyramids look like they were used for some kind of fire and
that shape there that you were just looking at is kind of reminiscent of the ones in Guatemala. I believe the city is called Tikal, and it's also the same pyramid that's like that shape. It's seen in Star Wars when they go to the Rebel base just before they blow up the Death Star. You can see the little dude standing in a crow's nest with a machine, and he follows the Millennium Falcon, and you see that pyramid right there. That is Tikal, and it's a kind of it's a trapezoid rather than a pyramid.
It definitely is, and more than likely, it looks like it may have been something that it's either this one. One of these two would definitely look like they allowed heat in and out or something in and out. It definitely had
a sonar image, or is it what? Is this just an artist rendition?
It looks like it's a rendition. Let's see. Sunken city found near the coast of Cuba. Let's see. Let's go here. See if there's any more on Pinterest. Yeah, this is. Whatever. We're not. You got to be crazy, Pinterest. I'm sorry, you don't let Facebook people on. You're too bad. We're not going there. Then. That's all I can tell you. Yeah. So right here, and right here. So this out here, this is where Bimini Road would have been going throughout like this. And no telling what was connected to this, but this definitely looks like it would have been some kind of mountain range. And then you look at these little islands all scattered around Haiti and Jamaica and all of them. I mean,
it is what now exists of what was once Atlantis.
If you believe,
because I've always been my theories has always said that Atlantis is probably the sub-Antarctic continent.
That's what they think. They think that Atlantis slid the whole shelf slid under the shelf of South America.
If that actually did happen, that is a catalyst for what I was talking about earlier before you got in. Is
so all the peaks
when the flood happened, there had to be a catalyst. Either something hit the earth and caused the flood, or there was an enormous shift in the landmass that would, like a sunken hole that drew the water in. So something happened.
Well, I mean, think about Denver had waterfront property. I mean, the ocean was right there. Salt Lake City, all that, and that was underwater.
Yeah.
Most of California was underwater. So there was just little couple peaks and valleys, of the mountaintops. So it's plausible.
It seems, honestly, Michael, it seems like the most plausible.
And all those islands, to the Leeward Islands, and
it's Occam's razor. It's coming down to Occam's razor, and
they would have been all the peaks of the mountains of Atlantis. They did find roads. I mean, off the coast of Florida, they found underwater roads, all kinds of stuff. And then there's, of course, the Bermuda Triangle, which has a lot of mysticism around it.
They said they found a city there. We was looking at one earlier. Rima Luma, where is this at? Luna.
Huh?
Rama Luna. Now, see, it looks like they got places. It looks like they got places where sticks or something came out of them at one time. They look like they got holes in them. It's interesting diamond site. It's a big site.
Yeah, that's the one thing that struck me, that people have said that Yonaguni wasn't a pyramid, wasn't a man-built structure, but yet there's like perfectly drilled holes in rocks down there.
Okay, that sounds like some BS. It's some more B. Oh yeah, where's this city at? It's the underwater cities they found in 2025. I want to go visit that one. Yeah, I want to go visit this one. Let's go. Okay, guys, like we're going to visit that underwater city. Somebody's an idiot. Oh man. Let's see. 10 fascinating underwater cities in the world that you can actually visit. Swim with the dolphins, huh?
Yeah.
There's quite a bit of junk in the Caribbean.
It sounds like a mafia tactic. Swim with the fishes, man.
This thing's right on the tip. I mean, and you know what's funny about this is right there, there's nothing. It's just golf that way, golf that way, golf this way.
But you can see the underlying continent crust below that, the green part. You can see that where it would have continued as a circle. And then they say that Atlantis was a circle. 3 interconnected circles, actually.
Let's see. Yeah, see, that's definitely some kind of hole in there. There ain't even no doubt about that.
No question.
Let's see.
And that is a sonar image, by the way.
Yes, let's see. Okay, now 20 years later. It's been longer than 20 years, my friends. I don't want to break your little heart here, but it's been more than that. I've been knowing about it for closer to 40, 30, maybe 35, somewhere up in there. It's just oh, there you go. What's that?
It looks like.
And it says that's supposed to be where we were talking about. That's
a pagoda.
So that says underwater pyramid discovered about 6,000 years ago off the coast of Cuba. I'm assuming they mean it was 6,000 years old, but
it looks like it has eyes. It looks like Jabba the Hutt, the one in the red circle.
Oh, it does, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? It looks like Jabba the Hutt.
It looks like it's snorting something out its nose too. Though.
Yeah. Well, he did smoke a hookah, so maybe he's blowing smoke.
Yeah. So that's another one. Yeah. So
stone, doesn't it?
Actually, no. They think they were wells.
Oh.
And the calcium or whatever. Freshwater wells coming up eventually capped themselves.
Huh.
It does look like something was coming out of it. It is layered like that. It's tier layered like that. I don't know. His blog spot is probably
bad. Maybe we should name this episode Bizarre Underwater Freakiness.
We're not. If I got to tell you I'm not a bot, it means your software is not safe enough in my computer.
Yeah.
See, this looks like something you'd find out in China somewhere.
That's a fake picture. That's not underwater.
Some city you can go swimming. This looks fairly modern architect here.
Well, I would not be surprised that there's way more in like underwater caves that would have once been above water. You know what I mean? Yeah. I would not be surprised if they find a Darren Kuyu under there.
Yeah, if they find this city, I learned how to dive when I was in the Navy. I'll have to go practice up, and I'll go and dive in there. This one for sure.
Yeah, that's fake.
I like how they scatter things around the ocean for the other people to look at. Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's a European city. It could be French Quarter though. Oh, we took our cobblestone out, so we know it ain't the French Quarter. Our tourists cried their heels were getting caught in the cobblestone.
Oh, I got a good story for you. Savannah is very similar to Louisiana. It has a cobblestone river street. My brother and his friend come from the University of South Carolina to visit. And it's St. Patrick's Day weekend, and they want to go down to the river street and wear cowboy boots. And I tell them, no, wear your sneakers. I beg and plead you, let's not. So they forced all of us, even me, and I finally gave in. We wore cowboy boots or they weren't going to go. As soon as we hit the cobblestones, my brother and his friend go, you're right, we should have worn sneakers. I'm like, I told you, why didn't you all listen to me? I live here.
Oh yeah, man.
Hate cobblestones.
It's yeah, this
Especially
looks
when you're
pretty.
drunk.
This looks like something behind water.
Yeah, but if we were to find a Hathor statue like that underwater, that would be amazing. I don't think that's real.
No, it looks like something behind water because there's a bush right there. Like,
Yeah, it can't be underwater if there's a bush.
that's what I was saying. It looked like a. Yeah, we've seen we might not have seen that one.
Oh, yeah, look at
Wait, go back. Hold on. Yeah, see, they're showing it from different angles, and it's definitely, I don't know.
well,
It's probably the ancestors, whoever the Toltecs were, though.
it's actually a shame my father's not around with us anymore. He at the time I would say from the 60s through the 90s was the foremost authority on sonar and underwater sonar imaging. And I bet he would love to see these, and he would be able to analyze them almost immediately.
Oh yeah, I bet you could too. It's this is Michael's future apartment. Where'd it go? Wow, I seen it a minute ago. Where the hell did it go?
I don't know.
Okay. They just ain't in Cuba. If this is in Cuba, we're all gonna be.
It's too clean to have been underwater for thousands of years.
Yeah, this is stuff they've put underwater recently.
Or they've AI'd in.
No, they got I forgot what they call them. They're diving sites. And not just that. You remember you seen the statues that were in a circle of people. They got lots of stuff like that. Why is my modem being weird? It had a hard. What was that? So my modem just now lit up with a heart right in the middle and a check in the middle of the heart and a blue light scanning out the. I've never seen it do that the whole time I've had this thing.
Wow.
Okay, man. Do it again so I can put you on camera. Good thing. I'm going to have to watch it. That was freaky. Hey, look, I don't like weird shit happening.
Oh, speaking of modems, I found out what was wrong with mine. Number one, when I changed my service, I upgraded my service for free. They didn't change my modem, so my modem couldn't handle it. And the plugs were loose on it.
Oh, shit. Yeah, that always makes a difference.
Yeah, that's why I kept blanking out. I thought my internet service sucked.
I run 2/3 everything on Wi-Fi now, and the important computers are still hard linked.
Yeah, hardwired.
Yeah,
everything but the modem is
hard. Now I'm fixing to change y'all. I'm getting ready to put all y'all on fiber optics, and so they just AT&T just put fiber, and they're going to give me a gig up and down for $60. I was like, really? I said unlimited upload, and they're like, yeah. So yeah, I'll be calling y'all soon. And a gig up and down. I mean, what I got now is fast, but gig up and down is smoking fast.
We have eventually, it hasn't happened yet, but they've been advertising Brightspeed is going to be bringing fiber optic here to this part of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, they're slowly but surely doing it. That's one of the things I hated about giving up the place I used to have in New Orleans. We had UVerse, and we were 80 feet from the hub.
Oh, shit.
The thing was so fast, it was just not even funny. Everything was in real time always. Didn't matter. Even when you're talking to somebody on the other side of the planet, it didn't even feel like there was any lag. It was crazy fast. So look at these, man. I'd like to go get some of these tiles. Where's this at?
I believe this is in the Adriatic or somewhere in the Mediterranean.
Is this one of these towns that they flooded, or is this one of these towns that...
it's either Italian or it might be Minoan. It's one of those towns. One of those towns that flooded up.
Yeah. Because I know we've and around the world we've flooded a couple of cities on intentionally, building dams and stuff. So this is the one off the coast of China right here. I mean Japan. I recognize the stones.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And they try to tell you this was just naturally made.
Yeah,
There's a kind of stone in this; it just breaks off that way.
Some stones.
Okay, so wait. No, let's give them the benefit of that. Okay, let's say this happened. Okay, all right. Where's the debris? I mean, this would have been a sizable block right here we're talking about. Where's it at? Well, matter of fact, it looks pretty smooth down there. It's not even beat up.
Yeah.
Where's the debris? Well, where's the debris for all of this?
There's one thing in nature. It's called, I think it's galena. It is a mineral, and I think it cleaves in that way where it would mimic those kinds of shapes. But galena would not survive for thousands of years underwater as that rock that is made there. So I think it's a type of granite that is made out of. Granite is very strong.
Yeah, and it water doesn't really hurt it any.
Yeah. There's Yonaguni, some good ones.
Yeah, let's see. Let's get.
Yeah, that one with all the steps on it. Yeah, nature made that. My ass.
It's just too smooth.
It's too.
You had steps here. I mean,
patterns like that, it would be more regular. It'd be more.
But it makes me wonder who these steps were for. I mean, this must have been some tall SOB, man. Like 20 feet or something. Step.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, who was this city actually for? And they have found what looks to be an altar in it. I mean, look, because you can see it's huge.
Yeah,
There's a little bit of guy down, yeah.
It'd be at least, I'd say, 15 feet, 20 feet tall to climb that step.
And who is this guy? Oh, that's the guy off of Spider-Man. The guy, turns the dirt.
Sandman.
Yeah, there you go. That's where. Pyramid found off the coast of Cuba, about a mile underwater.
Yeah. 2,000 feet underwater is significant. You can't do that without scuba gear.
Yeah.
And you might even need a pressure suit too. Don't you think? Down there, 2,000 feet.
1 mile, yeah. You're gonna need some kind of suit.
I mean, that's like submarine territory.
Well, I remember that's what I was saying. I remember the guy who was driving a yellow submarine. He was bringing divers down there, and those were the helium divers, the ones that were staying in the tanks underwater and then going out and diving. It's
Yeah, that's the trip. It takes you an hour to get down there, but 6 hours to come back up, so you don't explode. I think the Titanic is a little bit more than 2,000. It's very, very deep in the middle of the Atlantic, in fact. Hey, Google, how deep is the wreck of the Titanic?
12,500 feet deep.
Huh.
Website expedition.
Where have we heard that number today, huh?
They say.
I know.
12,500 feet underwater.
Yeah, this could have been maybe natural, and they just dug it out. But not this.
Yeah.
Not this.
The one in the bottom right, it looks natural. The others are not.
And even this kind of looks like they were just using it.
Well, there are 90-degree angles. There are obtuse angles. There are triangles. It's nature doesn't do that. It doesn't do straight lines, and at least not for very long. And it doesn't do triangles and circles and staircases and.
What's it called? Yonaguni.
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 Yonaguni. Yonaguni, I believe, is how it's spelled. Yonaguni.
Off the coast of Okinawa.
Okinawa, or one of the other larger Japanese islands. I'm not sure exactly where.
It's guys. I mean that's a sea turtle.
If I could see it from the top, I might be able to distinguish if it's a Japanese tortuga or not. Japanese tortuga it's called a tortuga because when what's his name, Columbus discovered Asia, he saw those and he called them tortugas. It's actually a tomb, but he called it tortuga. From the top, it looks like to him a turtle.
Well, it kind of does look like a turtle, but definitely this part detaches right here. This is a separate piece.
Yeah, it's a triangle also. Nature doesn't do triangles, really.
And then we got this whole piece up in here, and then this just cut in like this.
The triangle.
And you can tell this is sediment right here. I don't know.
There's also all kinds of lichens and other underwater sea life living on that rock.
Yeah.
Crustacean.
Oh, well, Michael, did you do this? Michael got the Fed on us, man.
Someone hit focus.
You got the Fed on us, man. Look at this shit. They blocking our pictures now.
You got bad reception. It's StreamYard. They're coming after us.
StreamYard. Poor babies. If they're gonna discovery of a 12,000-year-old underwater city off the coast of. I'm assuming that was India. What is this? People. All right. Okay, first off, this looks like palm trees. I don't know what the hell shiny, disky thingy this is over here. I mean, if you're gonna hoax something, get the obvious crap out of it first. Whoa. Sorry about that. I don't know what that was about. That was just nastiness.
Why would you do that to a banana?
I don't know. She was being hateful to the
trying to poop, man. There was a Metamucil. She's taking some X-Lax Metamucil.
Whoa, wait. Where's this? Go back. No way. I would have heard about this.
Off the coast of Louisiana. Granite structure. Bullshit. Where?
Bullshit. No matter listen.
Underwater city been discovered off the coast of Louisiana. Well, we know what happened about 12,000 years ago. We had the Younger Dryas event, comet impact.
Oh, you're sure? You were there?
That hit our world.
It's a speculation.
Earth,
really
and obviously we had the disappearance of the Clovis culture of North America. At present, more than 80% of the ocean remains unexplored, and recently underwater archaeologists discovered magnificent ancient ruins and startling prehistoric artifacts. The scientists confirmed they're confident more underwater treasures will be found in the future. It takes us, of course, a lot of money
Granite
to do
structure.
that. Still, some discoveries, like this one,
that means it was a rich culture. Where do you get granite for Louisiana?
An amateur archaeologist claims there is a 12,000-year-old
granite
underwater
places
city
to Louisiana.
off the coast of Louisiana.
This person
It sounds almost too good to be true, but anything is possible if we keep an open mind. Gillet has put forward an interesting theory
I had to go to Arkansas
suggesting there are mysterious granite mounds off the coast of the Chandelier Islands in the Gulf of
Chandelier
Mexico,
Island, sweetie.
50 miles east of New Orleans. Experts have so far not backed his theory, and it's fair to say that jury is still out on this one.
Yeah.
But this is by no means an ordinary ancient city. According to Gillette, there is a pyramid in the middle of the city, and it emits such strong energy.
Give me some better pictures.
TV.
You know what? You suck. No pictures. You suck. Ooh.
That's a good question, Joe. Can a normal submarine go down to the Titanic? If so, why would they be making a sub like the one that blew up? Curious. A normal submarine? No. Most normal submarines, particularly civilian, like yacht type, recreational vehicles, probably can't go more down, I say more than like 2,000 or 3,000 feet max. Now, your top secret nuclear submarines that we have go to a top secret depth, and they can probably get close enough to hit it with sonar and bang up good pictures like what we're seeing on these guys. But I'm sorry, the U.S. Navy's sonar is far superior to what researchers are using.
You need to dive in bell anyway to get 12,000 feet.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the sonars that our submarines have, they can get deep enough to their top secret max and take excellent sonar readings of the Titanic and other anomalies that would be upon the bottom of the floor. And guess what? The Navy is keeping all of those things secret.
You don't need to know. What do you need to know that stuff for?
It's my planet too.
No, you don't need to know that stuff. That's not for you to know. That's for them to know. You just want to know, but they don't have to let you know.
Well, I know. The only way I'm going to find out is to become president. So don't worry. I have a page up.
Was that Jeffrey? It's no, I mean I'd have to look it up, but there's a bunch. I've lost track of how many sunken cities there are around the world, but I can find out for you.
It's more than a dozen. More than a dozen.
Well, because there's some that we know what they've been sunken by. We know that some have been sunken on purpose.
Some have been buried on purpose. In fact, there are 6. I wouldn't call them underwater, but 6 tepes in Turkey. All 6 of the tepes exhibit higher than normal background radiation, and were also all deliberately buried.
Okay, now this. Hold on, let me. Where's the stammer on that? Sorry.
I said it was more than a dozen.
But no, this supposed to be just 13 haunted. Wait, did I turn it off? What a dumbass. Well, I mean, dumb, but sorry, we don't use that kind of language on this show. Let me get back and actually see this show box. There it is. Okay. So what is this? I mean, let's go back up here. Japan, Atlantis. This city sank beneath the water long ago. Yeah, don't tell me crap. Okay, let's put the page back up big. Okay. Ta-da. We don't care about any of that. We don't care about any of that. What's this? Here we go. Cleopatra's kingdom off the coast of Egypt. What?
Oh.
Yeah, that's
What
interesting.
is it? Part of Alexandria?
No, it's Anthradas.
Antirhodos.
Yeah, there you go. That's closer to how I got of it. You
I've
got
never
better
heard of
than
it.
I have never heard of it either. So it's very interesting. I keep thinking those are bushes, but those are bubbles. Now let's see what's down coming up. We don't care. Whoa, from 1600.
In 365 CE, that's Christian epoch or current epoch.
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably the one that blew apart. What is it, Minos?
Yeah, and it's 16 feet beneath the surface, hidden for 1600 years. Dedicated to ISIS. Ooh, don't be hacking off ISIS, man. Some guy shook it till it fell under the ocean, and I guess she pissed him off. I don't know why, dude. It seems dangerous to me pissing off a goddess, but hey,
That's why you don't worship them.
to each their own. I'm not going there. Okay, India, ancient underwater city.
Dwarka.
Yeah, there it is. You see the name of Dwarka? Yeah. Okay, let's see. Golf announcement. Some cities discovered. 21 experts suggest. Blah blah blah. 9,500 years ago on this one. See, at least they're still giving. So what is a Rothschild calling me for? I don't know if y'all can see that.
Rothschilds?
Nathaniel Rothschild calling.
That's got to be a hacked number, a fake number.
I don't know. He's been doing it off and on for a while.
Well, if he leaves a message, no.
He does all the time. He keeps telling me he's got something for me for the alien stuff. He sounds like an old critter dude too. I don't know. People, I don't like anything that says Rothschild on it. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. Okay, here we go. Bloop. Yeah. Next one. Here we go.
Infamous pirate city of Port
Royal, Jamaica. Yeah, okay, man. What we got here?
That looks like the Spleef storage area.
Earthquake in 1692. Well, earthquake's just sinking shit all. Oh, is it, man? We missed that. Oh, maybe it wasn't an earthquake. You ever heard other stories like
Into the comment section. Go back up, stop. There you go. Next. There.
Japan's Atlantis. Oh yeah.
It wouldn't be Japan's Atlantis. It would be Japan's. What would you call it? Lemuria. Thank you very much.
Where'd it go? There it is.
Baiae in Portus Julius, Italy. Oh, okay. All right. So I think that's the one where we saw the guy with the mosaic floor. So maybe there's some more pictures below.
It's 30 feet beneath the water. Where's it at? In the Gulf of Naples.
Getaway for Julius Caesar and Nero.
Oh, so it was the hangout. See, another bad place got blown under the water. See, it started to be. Oh man, it started.
Julius Caesar, Nero, and Julia Agrippina was in there. Oh wow.
We're starting to see some. More interesting stuff. Statue still in the water.
Clickety clack.
Now what we got here?
Oh, Petri, Greece. One of the oldest underwater cities ever found. Wow.
Okay, let's not hope this is going to be one of these other bad cities that got blown up for some reason. Okay, we're glad y'all found it. Okay. Let's see. Dates around 3500 BCE.
Some 5,000 years ago, when Western civilization was still in its infancy. Yeah, no kidding. That's what, they're just infants now.
It was once a thriving harbor town some 5,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
When Western civilization was still in its infancy. There was no Western civilization. What are you talking about 5,000 years ago? I mean, the Western civilization is less than 1,000 years old.
By Western civilization is the civilization around Mesopotamia and Greece and Italy and the Mediterranean.
We'll be nice.
That's the Western world, sir.
This is the Western
Far
world.
East is China. The Far East is China.
Actually, Jimmy, for some reason, they give really Mesopotamia gets most of the credit for being the first civilization.
Yes.
But not the Romans, the Sumerians and the Egyptians were right there. It looks like they were all three connected to each other. When you look at the map,
well, there's more than just them. There's also the Babylonians, the Akkadians.
But you see, the Babylonians was a little bit later. So you had the Sumerians, the Mesopotamians, and the Egyptians. Those three countries touched each other. Mm-hmm. They, I'm not sure how different they actually were, other than in maybe some beliefs here and there. So earthquake sunk it under the ocean, huh? Damn earthquakes, man! You better piss them earthquakes off. You better live somewhere it's tall. What do we got here? Sunken City. Oh, China. Oh, look! Let's go get this. I wonder if they get upset if you come remove stuff.
Lion.
Oh, see, this is one of the ones they sunk. They made a dam.
Mm-hmm.
I knew there was going to be one of them in there. There always has to be at least one of them. Because there's a cool one. You can dive Colorado, somewhere in the middle of the country.
Heracleon. That's got to be Greece. Nope. Ancient Egyptian city. It vanished into the Mediterranean.
Ooh, looky. Somebody fell over on it.
Definitely Egyptian.
There ain't no doubt about that.
It looks to have been submerged for thousands of years. Well, it says here they weren't entirely sure the city had ever existed at all. Well, they said the same thing about Troy, and Troy wasn't buried underwater, but we found it. Was it Heinrich Schliemann, I think, found it?
Because, shit disappears underwater, huh? It's gone. You don't see it no more. It used to be, well, that's water.
How did that get there? Well, I guess it's no water.
Yeah. And where are we here? Village
beneath Lake Lucerne, Switzerland. Where the Lucerne hammer was invented.
3,000 years ago. 2,000 years older than previously thought. Yeah, because archaeologists are morons and probably high out their ass most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Did I say that aloud? I'm sorry. I apologize to any archaeologists.
Rungholt. Oh, where is this one? The Atlantis of the North Sea.
Huh? I don't see no sunken city.
Yeah, I see a bunch of dudes getting ready to go do an ice bath or something like that.
They might be doing something more now. I mean, he got the pole out and stuff, man. Whoa, I don't want to look.
Oh yeah, I don't want to know what they're getting ready to do.
We're gonna move along. Sorry, people, that's pornographic. We don't know where that came from.
Neapolis, the sunken Roman port city off the Tunisian coast. That's Africa.
Now, we seen this picture earlier. See, this is one I said it looked like it had a compass on it.
Well, it's got something scratched on it.
That's what it looks like. It looks like a compass. Would make sense, in order to measure and cut things. What is this? Oh, no, yeah, we ground. Save the million. Let's see. Let me go back up here. So if this takes an IQ of 155 to save, I don't know what to tell you. This is an easy game, people. It don't take no 155 to save the guys here, okay? Anyway, just thought I'd tell you all that. 365 CE. Let's see.
They found a miniature Stonehenge under Lake Michigan.
Yeah, I think they found a couple of them actually in different places. Now. It's kind of weird.
They found these posts that go on for miles and miles and miles.
A Neolithic village. How do you know?
I think I have that picture.
Let's see. 7,000 BCE. It makes it 9,000 years old, right?
It makes it 9,025 years old.
Well, we don't have to get that damn technical. Damn.
You asked.
Let's
Don't ask if you don't want to know the answer.
It's on. Wait. How much the ancient villages once covered nearly 10 acres of land, but today is beneath 40 feet of water. Okay, first off, 10 acres ain't a lot of land, people, but I'll take a picture of 3 outside my yard and you'll see it ain't very big.
Well, 40 feet underwater is still not going to be easy to excavate, but it's easier than 2,000 feet.
Wow.
Wow. 307-pound megaliths.
Damn. 8,000 years. Well, they say the Middle East is supposed to be the cradle of civilization. But we're not gonna hate. We're not gonna hate. We're gonna move on. And final.
Was this the last one?
St. Lawrence Seaway.
Is that in the? That's in
the
the
one we've buried. Yeah, this is the one we buried.
I put one in the queue. If you want to share that, you can share that.
Cool.
Well, they also did one in Atlanta, Lake Lanier. They flooded the city.
Oh, they did a bunch of them. There's actually, you can get a list of them that actually flooded cities around the world. And what's cool about them, a lot of them are open for diving.
Yeah.
I put the picture in the queue if you want to add it to the screen.
Okay, hold on. Let me grab it. Let me get rid of these. Let me just get off this whole screen for a minute. Add it up. There we go. This is cool. This sucks that we only can have one person working the screen. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
So what's interesting about this is that that's a carving of a mastodon on that rock, but they're not quite sure who did this or what or why. And there's also those stones will go for miles all the way up to Canada because it was all dry. There was no lake. It was all dry at that time. But this goes back thousands and thousands of years. I mean,
yes, that's one of the problems with the way our history worked out. We're too fast to close sections that we should be looking at longer.
Mm-hmm.
Because really and truly, there's just stuff that has happened that you can't just explain away. And I guarantee you, at some points in our history, there have been prehistoric animals alive on this planet. There may not be any more left now, but there were at one time. There's just too many people, too many villages, too many tribes, too many places that had no idea what they were, but yet had them drawn on rocks and on mountains. And
right, and there are also ancient clay pottery that survive ancient sites in Mexico and Central America, depicting humans riding things like Stegosaurus, Triceratops, and it's the same thing as a Triceratops, except it's got a big shield around its head. It doesn't have the 3 horns in front.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I've seen those pictures of people actually riding dinosaurs.
Yes, it's cool as hell. And maybe a saber-toothed tiger is also on some of those, but everyone says, "Oh, this just fantasy." Well, why would somebody who doesn't know about dinosaurs draw actual dinosaurs and us riding them? Doesn't make any sense. So they had to have seen it. Had to have happened. There had to have been a time when we were walking around the earth with those critters.
Well, the one that cracked me up recently, they were showing these pictures out west of guys. Well, they look like native Indians riding on back of zebras hunting buffalo.
Yes,
they're definitely zebras, though. You could tell. As far as I know,
zebras and/or antelope.
Yeah. So, you know what? There's antelope all over the United States. I mean, when you drive through Wyoming, geez, at first I thought it was deer, and then I started paying attention, and it was just antelope and more antelope and more antelope. And freaking things were everywhere, 25, 50 at a time, just walking along through the side. I'm thinking, Lord have mercy. That's all you seen was sage, grass, and antelope, and every now and then a safe house. Oh, and these things that will build to hold back the snow from the highway. I have no desire to go back up there, other than Devil's whatever's up there. We passed by it, where whatchamacallit, Close Encounters of the Third Kind was filmed.
Devil's Tower.
It's up there, so
Yeah, Devil's Tower.
Yeah, we were up there. I don't know, guys. There's a lot of this strange stuff out there. I don't know. They're invisible. No, Michelle will probably kick their asses though. It's who's what do you mean European sunken cities? Okay, wait. Stop. Okay, first off, most of Europe is landlocked. So explain European sunken cities.
Well, there was a
So
couple.
like
The two in Greece.
I don't think there's any between England and the mainland. I've never heard of any anyway. And now, if you get into the Mediterranean, there seem to be 4 or 5 of them up in there, maybe 6 of them. That's where they found that 3-ring city. At that, everybody kept saying, "That's Atlantis." He said between the Gibraltar, that's Atlantis, but it just doesn't look big enough to be Atlantis. Just it's a cool city, but it just doesn't look big enough. First off, it doesn't even look big enough that a Spanish galleon could even drive up in it. Atlantis is supposed to be big, bustling, hustling city. With stuff, it's with stuff coming and going all the time. So,
and allegedly with like modern type technologies, cars and planes, flying technology. At least we know that from the legends and lore.
Yeah, that's where our damn flying cars at, buried with Atlantis somewhere. No, them stupid little copter cars are not flying cars. Okay, don't even start with them. We get flying cars. No, we don't.
We're talking George Jetson. You push a button on your briefcase, it unfolds into a weird bubble-shaped car. You get in it and you fly home onto your high-rise apartment building, which is like 7 miles above the earth or something like that in that cartoon.
So look, Chris. No, I really want. They're going to have some probably in the next decade, maybe 2, but they'll have some cool little flying cars out. But a car means you have to be able to drive it on the ground. Yes, cruising around on the ground. You have to drive it on the ground and be able to fly.
Car in a box, in a briefcase.
So so you can drive it on the ground, and then you can hit the button, and it opens up more, and it becomes a plane or a little whatever you want to call it, some type of I don't know what you'd call it, because they're not going to be in the beginning. They're going to have them 4 props on them. I can already tell you that, which sounds like an accident waiting to happen to me. Is it going to be able to keep your ass in the air with 3 props? Ooh, but think about these kind of things where you got to nose over and everybody in the car is going to fall out and get killed. Just asking people. It's I've seen some cool stuff out there. I've recently seen some new gas powered stuff, which is really cool. It's a lot of stuff is really lightweight. It's and what's really cool about it, if you've got a printer at home, not a paper printer before anybody's a smart ass.
3D printer.
A 3D printer at home, you can print most of this yourself. Well, some of the metal parts you'd probably have to order.
I put another picture up of the petroglyphs in Utah. This is interesting. Very interesting. This goes back 2,500 years BC. So.
Don't you love everybody gets to use their pointers? So what's this wheel thing, man?
Yeah, isn't that wheel weird?
Well, that wheel.
I mean, look at the wagon wheel.
It shows up on every continent.
Look at the devil dudes with the horns, man. What's up with that?
Those are Ant-Men, I believe.
Could be. This is where they all seem to have showed up when the Star People and the Ant People and all that saved all the Indian nations and took them in a ship, either underground or whatever they said. They thought they went underground, but I don't think they had a concept. I thought they probably went into a ship. And then that's when, because the whole region was green and plush. And then, there's dinosaurs out there too. There's dinosaurs all over Utah and New Mexico and all over. And then they said they went from the 3rd world to the 4th world. And when they came out, it was all dry and messed up. And then they were all told to go to Chaco Canyon, which is in New Mexico, and then have all the nations have a place where they can all meet. But it's interesting, because this was like really back, the Fremont Indian and that type of thing, way, way, way back. But the Navajo talk about the Star People. Hopi say Ant People. It's just interesting, But look at the drawing.
It's cool. Oh shit! It's 8:09. Oh, we gotta go, guys. Damn. I'm looking at Michael's drawing, and I just looked down at the clock. There's so much. We'll have to bring this up on one of the other shows because there's a lot of detail in this. We can go through a lot of stuff, and there's stuff all over the place.
There's animals. I mean, it's a fantastic.
These two are having sex
rural,
over
if you
here.
will.
No, it's a G-rated show. I'm sorry, guys.
That wheel looks like a UFO, man.
No, but see, I would think it was, but then there looks like something in the middle for like an axle. It's weird.
You think they had a wheel, but almost 5,000 years ago?
They maybe they did. We didn't know, and it went. Something. It's like electric. We know there's electric.
It's a pizza.
Well, we know 2,000 years ago the Egyptians had electroplating, so they had electricity. And judging from some of them images in their pyramids, it looks like they had some type of light bulb. So they probably had a long understanding of electricity, but then it went away, and then we had to rediscover it thanks to some guy, some Yankee guy named Benjamin Franklin. But anyway, there's all kind of stuff in there. There's a lot of stuff to look in there. There's like these little spirals, because that means something to the Dogon. Some of this other stuff means stuff to other tribes I've heard about. So it might
the spirals are a Navajo sign, and they were told wherever they go around the earth to make that spiral, to show that the Navajo had been there. They were told to spiral out from their location, keep going out and out and out further. But they found those spirals in Turkey, in Bald Mountain, where they had a lot of other petroglyphs the same in Turkey, though. So think about that.
All right. Well, on that note, guys, girls, we got to get out of here. Y'all can come catch us all. We'll be here Friday night, wreaking havoc. We'll be here Saturday. I'll be here 2 different shows Saturday. Mike will be here 2 different shows Saturday. Come by, catch on, see what's going on.
Hey, man, we got to thank Heidi, man, because Heidi goes. She does a lot for us, man.
She does. She's a good gift. She does a lot for a lot of people in the network, actually.
Yeah.
We see her busting it all over there. Yes. Y'all come in the chat room and y'all can meet Heidi and Mish and whoever else happens to be here. I still got to catch up with Mark Eddy because I want to talk to him about them guests he sent.
He was in earlier.
Yeah, so if y'all remind me next time. But anyway, we got to go because she's on. I know she just came on right now, so I don't want to be whatever this weirdness is going on with this. Y'all will hear the RH negative thing playing on our way out, and we will see you, I guess, Friday. People. Good night, everybody. And hold on, let me put this up because I wasn't paying attention and doing my job. Bloop.
I never thought I would find a correlation with blood and abductees. 69% of all of our abductees are RH negative people's personalities are different than RH positive personalities. It's not necessarily that one's better or worse than the other, they're just different. Their psychic abilities tend to stand out more. They tend to be more go-getters. They tend to want to be more involved with things on the planet. No one knows where our negative came from. It appeared 35 or 45,000 years ago out of the blue for no reason. As far as I know, Mother Nature didn't need it. It's not us doing this. It's something else. When I talk to scientists about this or somebody in the hematological world, I ask them, I said, okay, O negative is only 7% of the world's population. I said, what is it? They can't answer me. He said, all we can tell you is it's the purest form of blood known to man and is the universal donor. They don't like hearing the UFO or the alien word, but even they can't deny it could be a possibility. I don't know if they're ignoring it or just not saying anything to us about it. And the other weird thing about this is 40,000 years ago, it was 1% RH negative. Today, I think it's up to about 18%. It's growing. We lived in a long-haired, brown-eyed, brown-skinned planet for 2 million years. And then all of a sudden, this emerges on the scene. We start having these mutations. There was a lot of societies down there that seemed to worship aliens, and now we find out that there's a segment of the population that was up, and no one can explain it. Yeah.
How long ago was this recorded? 20-some years?
No, this was recorded just recently, last year or so.
The conclusion that somebody's interfering in our society. They do seem to interfere with our population.
I don't know if it's not even been for my last appearance on Coast, which was earlier this year.
The Greys are the ones that instituted the RH negative, probably brought O and O negative to us. The human aliens from every description I've got.
She's a cute human alien.
It looks somewhat like.
Whoa, Michael, man, comb that hair or something, dude. You seen how tall he was? That's Michael, man.
No, sand people.
The original Sumerian stories. They said they built 2 great white dome cities because they couldn't live in our atmosphere.
Ur and Eridu.
That race created a subspecies of themselves, which created the subspecies of us. The Sumerian stories talk about the 7 creations of man.
It gets complicated
with
fast.
The subspecies of us being the last creation. They would
procreate. That's why it's so hard to research.
The aggressive race that appear today, us. Technically, we have all 3 of the alien races blood in us. So eventually, one day in 100 million years.
And let me tell you what, I got in trouble with the organization that did that.
Species that's here today in deep space, more advanced than the 3 most advanced races in the galaxy. No, that's not what they want. They want
Most
us to
everything
be
in here is
an
considered
equal
abduction
race,
criteria.
but not a race that's going to go out and conquer and destroy. The Greys and the reptilians and humans say, we may have made a mistake here. And ever since then, they've been trying to correct it.
That
For
must
the
have been
most
on
part,
crack,
we really
man.
do think that it is to move us forward.
I'll never use that.
Everybody I know with RH positive thinks, well, are we being left behind? I said, no, you're being bred out. There's a difference. And what I mean by that is you're not being left behind. Eventually, we're just going to breed ourselves out in a different type of species. More telepathic, probably more honest. Green and blue eyes and RH negative is a mutation. It's not a naturally occurring thing in our body. Other than alien contact, no one can give me an explanation for where this came from or why it's here or why it's pushing so hard through our DNA in our life. It seems to be moving faster than it should be.
The magnesium in your cabinet is not only filled
Well,
with
guys
heavy
and girls,
metals.
sorry about that jumping off the air like that. But anyway, we got to go and thank everyone for tuning in to UFO Undercover, United Public Radio. Mike Langley's with us. Jay McNichols is with us. You can catch both of them. Well, you catch Jay. Jay does 2 shows on Friday. See, the 3 of us work really hard on the weekend because Mike and I do 3 hours on Friday night, sometimes 4. Jay's doing Church of Crazy Man. And
if I do that and then yours, that's 5 hours straight.
That's 5 hours. Yeah, Church of Mavis, John. Church of Mavis. Yes, we love Jeffrey.
COM is under my name there.
Yes, we love Jeffrey. He's a little weird sometimes, but we still love him. He's an asshole. And then on Saturday, I'm doing the Arthur's Quill and the chat, and Michael's doing the chat and Mike Langley live. So
and I'll be on the chat too. So
Jay will be with us on chat, and Sean's usually with us on Friday and Saturday night when he can, and then. We've had a new person join in with us. Angela Crazy Woman, is that her name? Oh, no. Laura Potvin, that's her name. She hangs out with us now. She's a sweetie pie. And yes, and then
Lorelei.
It's Laura Lee, but I always call her Lorelei. I don't know why. It's that I S me up every time.
Yeah, she's cute too, man. She makes us look better.
Yeah, she does. And then Leah will be coming and going. She just informed me her internet's been upgraded, so we'll see her.
Oh, yeah. She sold that dude?
Yeah. We'll talk about that later. Anyway, guys, girls, on that note, enjoy the outer realm, and we'll see you Friday. Stay out of trouble.